welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you decided to click on this video. Today I'm going to be doing a book unhaul. So I feel like a lot of times when I pick out my books that I'm going to get rid of, I really just put them on a shelf and then don't actually ever get rid of them. And so I kind of just was like, let's just go over books that I've had sitting in this pile and then let's actually go get rid of them. So this video is my motivation to actually go get rid of them. For this first part, all of these books are going to be listed on Pango Books. So if you are interested in any of them, head on over there. Honestly, if you comment down below and just tell me if you want a book, I certainly am we can figure something out, because if you pay shipping, I really am just looking to get these out of my house. So, but that's just a side note. This is just to show you all the books that I'm getting rid of and let you know why. So let's get started. So first over here, I have a whole pile down here. I have two things over here, and then I have a whole other shelf. So this might get a little lengthy. First, I have The One That Got Away. I didn't read this. I have no issue with it based on that alone. I got sent this by St. Martin's Press, so a big thank you to them. It's just not a book that I think I'm going to get around to. I feel like before I get too far into this, I should just do a little show and tell. My bookshelf space is very limited in my apartment. I live in about 550 square feet with my husband and two cats, so space is at a premium, and I have to be kind of picky in what I'm choosing to hold on to. So even if I do really enjoy a book, a lot of times I still get rid of it eventually just because of my lack of space. So don't take anything of these to be I hated it unless I tell you I didn't like it, because most of these I either didn't read or I liked and just was whatever. So anyways, back to the unhaul. The next one is The Art of Scandal by Regina Black. Again, this copy's brand new, got sent by Grand Central Publishing, and I actually ended up with 2 copies of this, which is why I'm getting rid of one, because I don't need it because I have 2. Next is a Book of the Month edition of Happy and You Know It by Laura Henkin. I actually really did enjoy this. This was a Book of the Month pick from May 2020, which was just a couple months after I joined Book of the Month. So I was so excited about it all the time. And I really did like this a lot, but it's just not a favorite that I'm going to probably read again or hold on to for, any reason. It's taking up space right now. Next, I have All the Dangerous Things by Sarah Willingham. I liked this book. I just, again, don't have any space to keep it around. The Other Mothers, I thought this was fine. It wasn't a favorite, and, there's no space is a premium. Like I said, I just don't see a reason to keep holding on to this. Competitive Grieving. Now, this is a book that I read a long time ago, probably close to 3 years ago, and I really did like it a lot. It's been on my shelf since then. I just got to a point where I needed to, make a spot for another book that I liked better, or at least more recently, so she has to say goodbye, but this was actually a really, really good book that I liked and didn't really get that much press, so highly recommend looking into this one. He Started It by Samantha Downing. I liked this book, but I like her other books better, so I just decided this was taking up valuable shelf space. The Puzzle Master. This, I thought it was okay. It's sort of like the Da Vinci Code, but make it Jewish, and I got a little confused at points. It's just, I don't think it was what I needed to be reading at the time I read it, and I think there's definitely an audience for this, but I just don't think that was me. And in this little pile, the last one is Sundial by Catriona Ward. I liked this. It was weird, but I'm never going to read it again, and I needed shelf space, so that's the story on that. Next, we have Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. Again, this is a book that I really enjoyed, but I'm not going to read it again. I mean, this was a 5-star for me, but it's just a matter of space. Last Acts by Alexander Sammartino. I read this just a couple months ago, and I really didn't like it at all. it just was not for me. I thought the characters were boring. It's only this long, and I still thought it was too long, and I think it's like not even 200 pages. Anyways, to me, just like not it. So hopefully this book can make someone else happy. Before You Found Me by Brooke Bayfus. I didn't read this. I'm sure it's really good. I've liked a book that she wrote previously, but I just don't think I'm gonna get to it. Don't Look for Me by Wendy Walker. I liked this book a lot, but again, I just don't think I will read it. And it's a paperback. Usually, unless I love a book, I'm not going to keep it unless it's a hardcover because it just looks nicer on my shelf. Ruth Ware, Turn of the Key. I read this a long time ago. Oh my gosh, yeah. And I enjoyed it, but it's taken up too much space. I almost would like to reread this at some point because it was kind of early in my thriller reading days and I loved it. And so now I'm like, was it actually good or did I just like not know all the, tropes and stuff? So I like had I don't know, an idea that it was super fresh and original, but like, was it? So, who knows? Leave the World Behind by Rumaan Alam. I wanted to like this so bad because it sounded like it was my brand of like weird horror, but it just got to be too weird. I think I ended up giving this 2.5 or 3 stars. I might have even given it 2. I'm not sure. I definitely didn't hate it as much as a lot of people did, but it disappointed me. I have all 3 of the books, the other ones over here, in the Boyfriend Project trilogy. The first one and the last one I thought were fine. This one I loved, but I just I don't know. I'm not going to read it again, and it feels weird to hang on to like one random book in a 3-book series. I mean, it's romance, so you can read them all separately, but I don't know. It's just not something I feel like I need to have a physical copy of. But I definitely recommend the Dating Playbook. That one was really good. I've got Snowed In for Christmas by Jacqueline Snow. I don't know if that's like a pen name or what, but I probably read like 2 chapters of this back in like December, and I really was not having a good time. It's like about a sorority like house mom, and then like some guy that lives across the street that's like works maintenance at this college or something like that, and like the main character acted like she was like 17, but she was supposed to be like 30. I don't know. It was just, it wasn't for me. I didn't like it, and I just did not suffer through it because I didn't think I would like it from the beginning. Kevin Wilson, Baby, You're Gonna Be Mine short story collection, and I'm sad to say that like I thought this was fine. There was some that I liked better than others, like in all short story collections. I love Kevin Wilson, so I feel like this was from a while ago. I think this came out in 2018, so I've definitely enjoyed his more recent like releases, definitely better than this, but I'm still gonna read whatever he writes. Then we have I'm Still Here, Black Dignity in a World Made for Whiteness by Austin Channing Brown. I read this several years ago and I thought it was good. I think there are a lot of books that are not that I guess are about a similar topic coming at it from a similar way. And this was a little bit more religious, I think, than I wanted it to be. But it still like was very impactful. And I do think that it's worth reading. I just think for me personally, I have a hard time with stuff that's like very into God and stuff because that's just not something that's a part of my life. The Siren by Catherine St. John. This is a really fun, like, beach read type of book. This was one of the first ARCs that I was ever sent. This is a finished copy, but the ARC was, like, the first one that I ever, like, reached out and emailed a publisher to ask for. And so that was, like, super exciting to me because that was kind of, like, where it all began. But, yeah, this is a good book. It's just not a book I'm going to keep on hand. Privilege by Mary Atkins, same story. I liked it. It's just not a favorite. And then these two, Never Blow a Kiss and Lady Charlotte Always Gets Her Man. I got these in a promo box. I'm not really a romance reader, and I'm definitely not like a historical romance reader, so that's just not something that I'm going to keep. We've got The Favor by Adele Griffin. I read this on my Kindle. I got it from NetGalley, and I really enjoyed it. And then I was sent this by Sourcebooks Landmark, and I like it, and I had it on my shelf for a while, but then I just had to make space. The World Record Book of Racist Stories by Amber Ruffin and Lacey Lamar. This was good. I enjoyed their previous book better, which was called You'll Never Believe What Happened to Lacey. It's something like that. That I really, really, really liked. This I liked a lot too. It was just kind of more of the same, but in a format that I didn't like as much. But yeah, definitely worth the read, and I'm glad that I got a chance to read this. Next is Sinkable by Daniel Stone, Obsession, the Deep Sea, and the Shipwreck of the Titanic. This has been a book that I've just been like, oh yeah, I'll get there. I'll get to it eventually. And I think it's been like 2.5 years and I haven't gotten to it. So as much as I love reading about the Titanic, I actually do have this also on my Kindle. So I'm like, I mean, we'll get to it eventually. It's still over there. I just don't need a physical copy taking up space. The Evening Hero. This is a book that I just never got around to reading, and I just at this point don't think that I will. All the Things We Don't Talk About by Amy Feltman. I think I gave this like 4 stars. It was good. It was very unique. And honestly, I almost want to keep it just because like the spine is awesome. I love that look. And the cover is really cool, but it's not something I can rationalize actually keeping a book just for that. The Cult of We. I did read this and I actually really, really liked it. I love books about like crooked companies and stuff downfalling, like so good. But like Theranos is like, wow. I was just absolutely obsessed with it. And Bad Blood, the book that of the guy that broke the whole case. Anyways, I loved that. So this was like kind of similar, but I did listen to the audiobook, and so I just don't think I need to keep this copy around. Head Over Heels, which is again a book of the month that I got in 2020, and it's fine. It's fine. It's a romance. Someone else will enjoy it more than I did, I think. The Sweetest Remedy. This is a book by Jane Igaro, who was an author whose debut I loved so much. Ties That Tether. Highly recommend it. It's such a good, like, it's a romance, but it's really more about personal growth from this Nigerian woman that is dating a guy that's like not, I'm not going to give any more away, but it's really, really good. Sadly, this was not as good in my opinion. I liked it. I didn't love it. And for me, it was just definitely a book that, like, I'm glad I read it, but yeah. A Face for Picasso. This was really good. This is a memoir. I can't remember what this Crozen syndrome. This woman and her twin sister have this syndrome where basically their faces are kind of like the bones in the head fuse prematurely. So most babies don't survive it. So they've had all these medical procedures, and just so it's just about kind of about her life and how the world looks at her and how she looks at the world. And I thought it was really, really good and well written. But again, so. Next we've got We Are Not Broken by George M. Johnson. I liked this. It was fine, but The Mary Shelley Club, another one that I liked, held on to for a while, and just decided I needed space. I mean, that's another one with like a super cool spine that like I can't justify keeping it for that alone, but it is really cool. So I hope somebody else wants it. Rachel Bloom, I Want to Be Where the Normal People Are. This book was really funny, but it's just not something I need to hold on to. If you watch Crazy Ex-Girlfriend or you're familiar at all with her comedy, she's really, really funny, and I liked this a lot. Minor Dramas and Other Catastrophes. This was good, but I have enjoyed books by Kathleen West more than this one, so would prefer, if I'm giving advice, switch to check out Home or Away. Really good. Someone Else's Life. by Lynn Liao Butler. This was a book I thought was okay. I mean, yeah. There's other books I'd recommend. It's like kind of a thriller about like getting stuck in a hurricane. There were some plot holes, didn't love, so don't recommend it, but yeah, it's getting unhauled. Over to my other shelf, I have space maybe you're a little bit more familiar with. I normally film like right here and try to not have all this chaos going on in the background, but this is real life. So this shelf here, okay, printer, this shelf here is where I keep books that I would like to get rid of, but that I can't sell for either it was an ARC copy, which is not something you can sell, or it's just kind of like messed up in a way that like I wouldn't want to sell it to someone else. So these books I usually either take to little free libraries or give to someone that I know that has a little free library, or donate to Goodwill or to a used bookstore, that kind of thing. So let's get started on these. So first we have Better Left Unsent by Leah Lewis. I liked this a lot. I have a review that I'm going to be posting soon on Instagram, so look out for that. But it's just not a book I'm going to hold on to, and it's an ARC, so I feel like when I get sent these, I'm very selective on if I'm going to actually keep it, just because like they just, you know, there's some stuff in them that can be like a little messy, and usually it's just not something that I am ever going to pick up again, and if I am, I'm going to want a finished copy that's like corrected and stuff. Same goes here with the Exvangelicals. I read this last month and I did talk about it in my wrap-up, so recommend looking at that if you want to know more about that. Again, these are books that I really enjoyed, I'm getting rid of. Like It Never Happened, same. It's an ARC, so I can't sell it, and I do recommend it though. The Girls by Emma Cline. I actually didn't read this. I started to read it and I just was not like vibing, and I just don't think it's going to be a book that I reach for. I have so many books that I haven't read, and I just don't see this being like a book that ever gets chosen. Scrappy Little Nobody by Anna Kendrick. I loved this. I love her so much, but it's not in great shape, and I read it a while ago and I don't want to keep it. Creep by Miriam Gerba. This is an ARC that came out in September last year. I am appreciative, of course, that Avid Reader Press sent it to me, but it's just not a book that I want to hang on to. I will never read this. Another ARC is My Name is Iris by Brando Skyhorse. This came out in August. It's an ARC, and I just am not going to read it. I started to read it, and for whatever reason, I think I just needed something a little bit lighter. I put it down, and I'm never going to go back to it. It's probably very good, but for me, it's not something that I got to be honest with myself at a certain point, you know. Night by Elie Wiesel. I loved it. It's just really a sweet? It's not sweet at all. It's just a really, really heartfelt and horrifying read, but I still recommend it because it's life. It's real. This stuff happened, so definitely check that out. All the Ugly and Wonderful Things. I liked this for a while, and I think I've kind of gotten to a point where I'm like, do I? Gonna get rid of it. It's not in great shape, so it's going to be donated. Do Tell by Lindsay Lynch, another ARC copy. I thought this book was okay. I didn't really care for it, so off to the little free library. Elizabeth Gilbert, City of Girls. As you know, maybe, I love, 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 love this book. This is definitely a 5-star read, and I did a video, and it is still a 5-star read, even though I read it a few years ago. It is just like absolutely a disaster, falling apart. Like the binding is kind of broken at some points. So that's not good. So I'm actually gonna unhaul this because I would like to buy a copy that's in better shape to have, because it is like an all-time fave. The Field of Wrongdoing. I did speak about this back when I read it, I think in like September. It was just incredibly violent and graphic, and not a book that I'm ever gonna want to like read again or give to anyone, I don't think. the Crow Valley Karaoke Championships. I didn't ever get to this, and it's not something that's like really sparked my interest, so we're not gonna read that. Michelle Obama, Becoming. I really liked this book a lot. I mean, I think that Michelle Obama is great, and I loved reading this, but it's just I've had it for a long time, and I don't think it's ever gonna be a book I go back to. Fair Rosalind. This is kind of like based on Romeo and Juliet, and I think that it sounds like a really cool premise, but I just, again, not going to pick it up. Beautiful Country. I liked this a lot. This was several years ago. September 2021 this came out. This is an art copy, and I really liked this book, but again, it's an art copy. I'm not going to pick it up again, so it's time to go. This video is getting so long, so I'm so sorry if you're still watching. You are a hero. White Women by Regina Jackson and Sarah Rao. I read this back in, I think, November for my backlist binge readathon, and I didn't really, it was good, but like I have opinions on it a little bit too, so. We've got Stephen King, Lacey's Story. Yeah, this was also part of that same challenge, backlist binge. This was a DNF for me, which is like, I think the first Stephen King book that I DNF'd, but I just didn't like it, and I'm not going to read it again. Not going to ever give it a try again, I should say. Sister Friends Forever. I was sent this by Grand Central Publishing, but I just don't think it's a book that's going to really be something I read. Last Night at the Hollywood Canteen. Again, in ARC, I just don't see myself reading this. It looks cute, but off she goes to a new home. We've got Being Lolita. I liked this, but it's not. Should I just not say anything? Because everything is like, I liked this, but I'm not going to pick it up again on repeat. So I don't need to say any words. Here you go. You know how I feel. Such a Fun Age. Yes, I like this a lot, but it's a paperback, and I just don't like to hang on to these if I didn't like love it. And, you know, it's not in super great shape. I almost want to say that, like, I used to own the hardcover, and I got rid of it, and then I found this in a little free library, because I was like, oh, I really like that book. And now I'm just like, I don't need to own it. Did I Say You Could Go? This is an art copy. I liked this a lot, but it's an art copy. That's different than what I was saying before. It's an ARC, so I just don't feel like I need to hold on to it. And One More Seat at the Round Table. I just am never going to read this. Confessions of a 40-something Fuck-Up by Alexandra Potter. I wanted to read this at first, but the publishing date like came and went, and I just didn't ever feel like reaching for it. And so I don't think at this point it's a book I would pick up without like a deadline looming, if that makes sense, like to read it and review it. Since it already passed, I just don't think that needs to be on my shelf. And A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. I read this also for my backlist binge, and I thought it was good, but a book that doesn't need to stay here with me. I actually have another entire box, but I am shipping it out and sending it to a friend who has a little free library, so I don't even know what's in it, but it's going away, so that's great. I'm sure that I could do another one of these very soon with books that are on my TBR shelves, or even books that are on my like regular shelves that have books that I've read that I just maybe like, you know, at this point we could get rid of, but that will be at a later date because I am now exhausted. Little life update, I just should say. Today is March 25th, and on Friday the 22nd, my sister had a baby, and he is perfect and amazing. I did post like a little community tab, so a little picture of him. His name's Benjamin, and he is just the squishiest little baby ever. He is perfect, and I am just in love with him, and yeah, so I have been super busy. I was her birthing companion. I have been kind of like her person because she did this by herself. She is a single mom, and so I have kind of like been part of it, and so my filming schedule's gotten a little bit screwy, but here we are, and I am probably going to talk about Ben all the time now because he's great. So we're going to stop it there. That is a life update though, lots to say, but Anyways, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you aren't subscribed, I would love it if you would, and I will see you in the next one. And if you want any of these books, again, I will leave a link to Pango, or you can just email me or leave a comment and we will figure it out. Thank you so much. Bye!